So my family consists of a lovely husband and a gorgeous daughter whose name is Angel. My family is highly supportive of who I am. I think that's really what it's about. My husband has been through the ringer. He has done every workshop that I have done. He doesn't have a choice after 24 years. He has to be supportive. That's part of a 24-year marriage. So he doesn't get a choice. The one person that's really interesting that I find more fascinating is my daughter. She doesn't necessarily do the work. She's learnt a little bit of it, and she does get encouraged by me to use it on herself.
My relationship with my daughter is unique. It feels more like a sister-to-sister relationship. As an only child, Angel has been able to achieve phenomenal things. But that's actually because in the background, I've done a lot of personal work for me. And that has allowed her to be amazing. By me incorporating this work into my daily life, it actually allows my whole family dynamic to shine.
We do look like a bit of an ideal family. Mum, Dad, the fabulous Angel. But I can tell you that we have our moments, we have our challenges. I also come with a history. And the history is from a dysfunctional family life. That started me out in the real world at the age of 17, which no one should ever have to do. And it was a very abrupt entrance into reality, but I was already in survival mode. So, 17-year-old, gung-ho, knew everything, not, and in survival mode. So I was just merely existing. I would just put the next foot in front of the next foot in front of the next foot. I did that till I was about 25. I was pretty exhausted by the time I got to 25. And I never experienced, most 17 to 25-year-olds have this great sense of, I can do anything in the world. Look, the world is my oyster. I'm like indispensable, man. So I was this survival, functioning human being. Did the best I could, and we all do the best we can, but I was really coming from a pure existence. Nothing really excited me. So I got to a point where my husband, who I'd been married for 4 years by that stage, his parents were going through a divorce. And it broke me. Because I'd married into him, but I'd also married into the family. Because I married a family because I didn't have one. So then that broke up. So then what did that say about me? And I had to deal with 2 separations of parents. And I collapsed on the floor. So what that looked like was every day I would go into work and be a very efficient admin office person. And at 10 o'clock, 10:30, I would be crying. And my manager at the time went, this isn't normal. I went, really? Feels pretty normal. So after a couple of days of this happening, he just said, go home, you're on stress leave. I went, what? Stress? And so that gave me permission to accept that I might be a little bit broken. So I went through all the traditional, what I would call traditional therapy, psychologist, psychiatrist, did about 18 months of that. And it revealed some things for me, but it didn't give me complete satisfaction. So we found kinesiology. And through that work, I started to gain some belief in myself. I felt strong enough to start a family. By this stage, we'd been married for 8 years. So we fell pregnant and I gave birth and then I broke again. And I really wasn't repaired. So as much as kinesiology had allowed me to take another step forward, the step opened up for a place for me to learn some more. And within 3 months of me giving birth, I actually was introduced to Rekindled Ancient Wisdom. I went to a raw workshop. I literally had a 4-month-old on my hip. I found I could do this work really easily as well. And I just had to follow a process. I didn't need to know about myself or be fully personally developed or anything. I could just follow this process and get an outcome. And I went, that's cool, I can do that. So over the next 9-10 years, I was getting a life. Without raw, I would have repeated the patterns of the family environment I grew up in. And the reason I can say that with absolute confidence is that I have siblings who have duplicated the life that we grew up in. The lineage that I could have easily defaulted to in my marriage, in my relationship with my child, easily defaulted, and I haven't. There is not one aspect that I recognise in my 17-year-old. She comes out with observations of the world that I just went, not only would I have never thought of it, but I had no capacity to think outside of myself. She can function in a world that allows her to think beyond. And yes, I've taught her that. Both my husband and I have taught her that. But we've provided support emotionally so she can actually choose that. She's my greatest testimonial. I am in my most happiest, contented space when I get to do the balance process with someone. I will not have a day where I don't do that process. So I think that's what my happiness is this absolute love for what this process brings for people. And I make sure that I bring it to me and gift it to me every day, because then my happiness level increases.